Oh my gosh, Shiz.
There she goes again. Oh man, shoot the messenger if you need. Justify the criminal's greed. Bring the documents if you want. Throw out a misogynistic taunt, but there she goes again, pissing off them men. There she goes once more. Facts will settle the score. If the truth is painful, maybe be less pitiful. Don't commit crimes and lie online. There she goes again. Documents in hand, breaking their delusion. Sorry for the confusion, but shit happens. Shit happens. Shit happens.
Hello, everyone. We meet again.
We do.
This time for some arguable hilarity. Let me share this. I'm getting so good at this. No, I'm not. I just jinxed myself. It's fine. So anyone who hasn't been following the Welsh News saga, as Kate and I said last year, he ended up being a huge liar and apparently a fraud. I mean, an admitted fraud. He pled guilty to fraud charges, right? So now all his panel members, like rats on a sinking ship, are trying to run to safety here. And what we're gonna see is let's just watch it and we'll talk about it as it goes on, okay?
I might not want to answer. Jim might not want to answer this time for different reasons, but we'll explain.
You better not
if those
strike
things
me,
do
potato.
happen to come up. Like if somebody asks me, full transparency, how long is your penis? I'll be transparent and say 12 inches. But you know, maybe I'll decide not to. Who knows? But that's basically what I'm getting at.
I'll just say that if it's somebody else's story, then that's not for me to say. So
Fair
Hank,
enough.
Becca, I would say Pope Phil, but he's coming up any minute. Shuggy, their real lives and their stories are off limits. And if Dan has told me something personally in confidence that shouldn't go forward, then I'd be a horrible person if I say that.
Oh shit. All right, I'm posting a link. It's just for Shuggy. I'm so sorry. I forgot to send it to you on Discord.
That said, in the current the fundraiser we were doing, there was the ice cream thing. Punish Jim so we can't have ice cream. And right now it's May of next
Weird
year.
corny shit, yes.
Well, guess what, Demon? We were talking, my mom was going to Sam's because her coffee pot blew up. So her Mother's Day present is now me paying for.
Hold on. Okay. I just want to ask the chat. Does anyone give a fuck about any of this shit? No? Okay. Frivolous backstory. Got it.
Coffee pot. She just
I need to make this faster. It's gonna make me mad.
For everybody in the house. I can't drink it because it's ice cream.
I would kill a milkshake right now. I'm not gonna lie. It's really humid here today.
There's literally one in the refrigerator waiting, and I can't touch that thing till next year because I have honored my obligation.
Yeah,
First
it's
question,
stupid.
like she's asked, what is he even talking about? The milkshake.
It's part of it was one of the things in the last fundraiser.
Yes, Jim, your bias isn't honorable.
Ice cream, or the character of little Jimmy of ice cream for the next.
What? Can I just ask about that? Because you got cards on the table. I have not watched a whole lot of Welsh.
Okay, before we get into this, I want to point out he talks about this child character he does, and he tries to justify it by saying that the character is 17. But I want you to listen for how many times he calls that character a little kid or a little boy. And when you hear little boy or little kid, do you associate that with a 17-year-old or a child much younger?
Much younger.
Thank you.
Welsh News Network, to be quite honest with you. What is that character? I just don't quite.
Oh, there's
it's not that I don't get it. I just genuinely don't understand that.
I don't get it.
To bring that up, there's a little mythology going. I started using it to poke fun at Dan back in the day because of where he supposedly lived. So I said, in the castle. Which was where you debunked that he didn't live there. And I was just making fun of him to make fun of him. And when I joined the show, we also introduced the character of Little Jimmy, who was supposedly the offspring of Dan and Becca, to say, oh, it was his long lost son came on to help out on the show when he had his heart issues last year. And that was the explanation for me joining the show, let alone the character started.
Why do you need a reason to join the show? Why couldn't your reason be my friend's in the hospital, I'm helping out? Why did it have to be this child character that says and asks really weird sexual questions? Again, the internet is my psychological study. I'm just pointing out to you guys things I'm noticing, and I'm just going to keep going with this weirdness. Okay.
It's got its own mythology behind it, and it's something to do when the show is dead and you're just you need to have a joke
on life support.
Like something inappropriate comes up, it is funny to have a little kid voice say, "Mom, what's the clitoris?"
First of all, Demon's face should be everyone's fucking reaction, okay? When something, it's funny to have a child say, "What's the clitoris?" No, it's not. Why can we just keep children out of sexual statements and situations? Can we just refrain from including minors at all in any type of sexual situation or conversation? Please stop sexualizing children. It's very fucking uncomfortable and very fucking gross. The reason why a lot of people fucking talk shit about you, Jim. It's just fucking weird.
And that would be Little Jimmy. Or, just to have a laugh. So Little Jimmy is the most annoying little guy on earth, and he loves ice cream. So our fans were
no one gives a fuck about like your minor child alter ego, fucking weirdo. I care a lot about Tony, and Tony, love means never having to say you're sorry. Don't apologize to me. It's okay. Yeah, they should have been way more responsible and paid attention to the warning signs, especially with some of the information that's going to come out during this live. But I will pose those questions as they occur.
Donating to deprive him of ice cream. And because I cannot honor whatever he's done with this charity, I can honor what I agreed to, and I won't have ice cream for the next year. It's an honor thing. It means something to me because I'm obligated to do it.
I feel like maybe I might have missed something real quick. So last time I says, what the fuck, can we not mix children with sexual innuendos?
No, it was part of the Little Jimmy character. It was fun.
That's not part of it. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Basically,
saying that sexualizing a child character is part of the character, that doesn't justify it, explain it, or excuse it. We're going to see a lot of really limp-wristed attempts to skirt any accountability, liability, or to have any type of fucking integrity, really. Gross.
Yeah,
this shit grosses me out.
Little Jimmy does ask inappropriate questions from now and then, but Little Jimmy's 17, so it's not
17.
Yes, because
I thought it was like a kid, like 17.
No,
weird
Little Jimmy's like because it's a family joke. My grandmother was always 39, so when I was young, I picked 17, even when I was 10.
Gotcha.
That's just the number in the family. We say it's because that's how much I can count on my fingers and toes is 17. It's a joke.
Jokes are funny. None of this is funny.
You either had a genetic thing or an incident with a helicopter. Anyway, let's get on track with this because I know there's a whole load of questions coming in. Right. Actually, there's already some questions.
I just want to point out Pope Phil is in his late 50s. I believe Jim is in his late 50s as well. I just want to point that out. Okay? People are old enough to be my dad, and if my dad was acting like this, I'd be heated.
He's coming off the rip, so I might just get stuck straight into that, and then we might just kind of go over some of the backstory or whatever if that works out. Now,
yeah, Daisy, it's alarming. It's really gross and alarming.
When I set up the live earlier, so it is actually from Coded Friend 101. I assume it's the real one. But first, he said Jim is Dan's accomplice. That's not a question. Coded Friend, feel free to say whatever you like. And can I just say, guys, seriously now, right? I'm not gonna mute anybody now. This is the last chance. You know who the fuck you are. If you coming in here calling people pedos and shit like that,
I feel like you said different ages before.
All right, that's very dangerous kind of shit to call people. So please, can we just stop that? And from this moment onwards, baseless accusations like that, are getting fucking blocked because I'm not having it. It's not on. It's very dangerous. Please don't do that. Okay. If you want to say something sounds a bit creepy, fine. I don't care. But calling somebody that specifically, please. Okay. I have a thing about that. I really don't like people saying that kind of shit.
I'm happy I saw this comment while Demon was going on the same tirade I kind of would. I mean, it gives off some vibes for sure, but I'm also a big believer that if you accuse everyone of being a pedophile, you dilute the reaction to when someone is actually a pedophile. I don't know of any criminal charges or any allegations relating to Jim Finch and children. That being said, again, this is all very, very alarming.
Shit. But other than that, if you want to say that you think something is weird or creepy or whatever, fine. That's no problem. I got a problem with that.
And I'm not reading the comments. I've worked in social media for so long, I don't read the comments, and I know not to take the comments seriously because so what? I've been doing this for.
Okay. He just said he's not looking at the comments, doesn't take them seriously, right? There's a couple times during the show that I comment and he directly addresses my comment and even says, "Shiz just said." I'm just pointing that out. Fibbing a little there, Jimmy.
For 30 years now. I've worked pro wrestling areas. I've seen every comment you could possibly make against me. I don't care.
Fair enough. Cool. So, code of friends.
He does a lot of kind of what Kate does. If you coddle them enough and make them think, you know, you're a safe place, they'll just open up to you. And I mean, he did make a safe place. He didn't really press them hard on much, which I understand completely. I'm here to pick up that slack. They're all sleazy, though.
And again, I assume based on the other comment that came in a minute ago that it is the real code friend. Says, question for Jim: does he regret the things he said about my wife calling her a mail order bride or a whore? What is that? Thank you. Wow, that looks lovely. I just got a sandwich delivered.
I don't have anyone to bring me a sandwich. So
sorry, I'll read
Hershey Kisses.
Does Jim regret the things he said about my wife calling her a mail order bride and a whore?
I have no regrets, Coded, because
no regrets.
You put my home address out there, even though my home address has been public for 27 years. Every show you say you're coming to my house.
I'm gonna say I haven't seen him put out the actual address. I've seen him say the house number, which is not a dox. There's lots of houses with lots of numbers across the U.S. But if he did, that's fucked up. I still don't see that as a reason to degrade his wife. I don't think anyone's family should be brought into any of this nonsense. If he put out your fucking address, you go at him. You don't dehumanize his wife. I just, families shouldn't be in this shit.
Firebomb it. So if I said something that upset you, fine. I'm sorry I upset you. But come on, you're going to firebomb my house. I really don't think I need to be polite to you if you continue with the threat. So no, I don't regret anything. But if you want to show up and firebomb the house, I'm sure I can get a police report on you anytime.
All righty. Okay.
Nothing says tough like saying you're going to get a police report.
I'll challenge for sure, and I'd expect the same for any questions that come in for me. But I suppose on that one, it might just be me. I don't like when people bring people's family. Yeah, it depends on what way you go about.
Sorry, I was mid Hershey Kiss. One, I don't like assigning violent words, which like attack is usually taken as like a violent physical thing. I don't like assigning that to online criticism. So I'm not attacking Jim. I noticed some things when I was watching this and I wanted to share my concerns. I noticed a lot of people in Demon's chat were also voicing similar concerns. Felt like this was a place we could go over it and express things further than Demon was able to. Do I think Jim is a victim of Dan's? No. At some point, a logical, rational adult, especially in their 50s, should have looked at this critically. And again, later in this stream, he's going to make an admission that we really need to go over because I think it's alarming. And I think that you lose any attempt at playing innocent victim here when you knew information way ahead of time, especially if you call yourself a journalist, you run a newspaper or whatever. When especially criminal charges are brought to your attention, you should really look into that, especially if it's your friends, especially if it's people that you're supporting online and helping grift people.
about it. Like I've done it. Fucking God
yeah.
knows
Well,
I
he
have.
brings up
You know
my mom and sister on every show. So
Yeah.
so you know, eye for an eye.
I don't know about all that either, Jim. What did I miss here? Oh, thank you, Donna. 10 Shiz Happens memberships. I do have some members only content. Enjoy. But I appreciate that, Donna. You're awesome. Every time I see his logo, look at him getting red. PhD Tony, if that teenage character is what this guy thinks is funny, I'm uninterested in any content he makes or is associated with. I think that seems to be the general consensus, not shockingly.
I don't care.
Okay, no, that's a fair enough answer. If that's your answer, that's fair enough. So he says, I only have one question. And then
he much like Turtle Boy, registered a website and started writing blogs and calls himself an unbiased news source, though has shown to be very biased for Welsh News Network, forever in their favor and perpetuating their interests, which he does admit during this stream that he was receiving compensation for his work on Welsh News Network, which makes his news reporting all that much more disingenuous and fraudulent. I guess that's a theme over there in Welshland.
And then Swiftly follows up with the second question.
Yes.
Is he worried those statements will come back? Oh, well, it's a follow-up. Okay. Come back to haunt him in the future. I don't know.
What statements?
I assume the ones from the previous question about his wife or whatever.
No, it's the internet.
Okay.
It's the internet.
Yeah. Okay, so actually she makes a really good point there. So calling someone a loser, there's no reason to hide people. Absolutely agree. Okay. Just if it's like calling somebody a pred or something like that, like really shit like that, I'm not gonna
just add, I'm not reading side chat, I'm not insulted, I don't care. I honestly don't care.
Fair enough. I don't even know who it was aimed at. I'm just saying,
yeah.
Like if you want to call someone a loser, call them a loser. If you want
Jeff, even though your hair is super luxurious, I'm gonna take a break from my Hershey's Kisses. I worked for a nonprofit news network, and I can say we didn't go into anything with bias. Our goal at all times was just to report what was going on, put out the documents. A lot of times we had photographers on scene. We'd put out the photos. Mainstream media can sway for sure, especially depending on who's in their pocket. This is just a like grain of sand situation compared to the mainstream media because these people are all irrelevant NPCs.
If you want to call him a dickhead, call him a dickhead. I have no problem with that because I do it all the time. But it's more so calling people a predator. But I don't like that. Unfounded, I don't want to hear that kind of shit. But anyway, we'll move on because there's already quite a few coming in. And Phil, you're more than welcome to jump in here at any time. David Madwin for $10 says, Jim Finch advertised Dan's fundraisers on his news page. Will Jim, the reporter, be following up with the supposed charities to see if they received the money?
If we can find the charities, yeah. But Demon, you're closer to Wales to find a dog shelter that he.
My question is, as a journalist, when Dan went after me and tried to say I didn't work for Live Boston, why didn't you step up and say, well, wait a minute? Especially after I posted the evidence in his Discord. But again, I do appreciate Welsh lying about my work because it caused my old job to put my name back on most of my articles. So thank you guys for helping facilitate evidence against your claims. I really appreciate that. It's so cute.
I suppose I actually have a question about that one as well. Did Dan ever tell you what the name of the charity was by any chance?
No. The charity stuff is all his doing. Pope, did you ever get a name?
I did not, no.
Then why did you hype it?
Yeah, it was supposedly a charity near his house that he was working at. But now, which house? The fake one or the one he lives at?
Yeah.
The backstory behind it sort of was he wasn't going to disclose the name because he didn't want the shelter to receive backlash because people didn't like it.
Like what happened with AZ Jeep Girl. You know, she actually worked for a shelter. Yep. The shelter got out. They got in a lot of.
I'm going to draw a comparison right now. Kate recently did a fundraiser for a victim of Turtle Boys for a lawyer. She didn't feel comfortable publicly putting the name out, but before she posted that in my Discord, she sent me the name of the lawyer so that I could verify the information. It took 2 fucking seconds. Don't sit here and say that you constantly supported this man taking money for charity. You never got any receipts and you didn't even ask what fucking charity it's going to. If he didn't trust you guys with that information, why the fuck were you helping him get money? Oh, yeah, because you guys were getting paid. Sorry. Whoops. Spoiler alert.
of shit for it. So it was supposedly that same type of deal.
Yeah.
We weren't told the name of the shelter.
It's a cute cover story. Like, it's a good cover story to be like, this is why, this is, you know, I'm not putting it out there because such and such a thing, but surely you'd be able to put it out there to people who are close to you, right?
No.
So I suppose the question being like, so I don't know if you could answer this question. So did you put links to that up on your website?
I don't think I did. I can go back and look. If I did, it wasn't with ill intent. Okay. You know, it was something we're doing for the show.
Okay.
But I never advertised. I didn't make a news article and said, "Here, donate to this. We're doing that."
Yeah,
no,
you didn't link his charity shit
in show for anything. You know, occasionally I'll say we may do this if I'm promoting it on like.
I'm gonna doubt that.
In a Discord or something. Yeah, we're doing this for so and so. Like, I think I may have done it for Hez's producer, that one, and I know she got that money, and I know when he did one for the paper, we got money. Verbo Boss has been working with us for a long
Turtle Boy
time.
syndrome.
He has the same criticism because when he's asked for a receipt, there are no receipts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the only receipt we've actually seen was for the one that Verbo actually did, and she delivered the items to the person herself.
Okay.
After that, you know, I put up receipts of things where he sent me stuff and said on the air, I'm sending him this. Okay, I put it up. And I'm doing it. The world just exploded. So I'll finally put the paper stuff from the paper fundraiser last month up on the web as soon as I get a chance to breathe. Because I haven't even watched your video.
Or you should just show receipts off the jump.
I didn't even do the
fine.
newspaper this morning. You know, there's just hasn't been time to breathe, let alone anything else.
Or follow me here. You shouldn't make your entire income something that's not making enough to even sustain itself after a year. Doesn't take a fucking MBA to know that. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I write this fucking blog and it's not making enough money, so I had to do a fundraiser. Again, these are people in their 50s. Holy shit. Turtle Boy syndrome.
Just made a point there as well. It says fact verification was not a thing one could get out of Dan behind the scenes. So what would happen if you pushed him for, look, dude, I need to know the name of this charity. I can't, you know,
anger, elusiveness. You learn to phrase things like maybe not, hey, where's the receipts? But you know, it might be nice if you put the receipts up, Dan.
Why would you be friends with someone who gets angry at you when you question them? Right?
But you're upset with the answers.
Has anyone ever come to me and gotten an angry reaction when they've asked me a question? No? Okay. So these people, they're outlining behavior that should be alarming and should cause them to stop helping him grift money off of unsuspecting people. They're literally pointing out all the reasons they shouldn't have done what they did, but they still don't want to take accountability, basically. Horseshit.
You know, it's how you approach him is a big deal. Because if you go in for a fight...
Are you fundraising, though, Frank?
And that's just Dan. You know, it's probably the same thing with
and
you.
rest in peace, Donald Atwater Cameron Jr.
You're going to get defensive, and you're not going to get a result.
Okay, so actually a few people have asked the same question. I just saw Shiz's one come up here. Says, but if that was the case, why continue to support him? So if you know you wanted to get some clarification on the charity, for example, you know, what drove you to continue to support that or whatever?
The charity stuff wasn't till more recently he's focused on that. The first few months we weren't doing much charity. We'd do the monthly drawings, which we knew would go to people because they'd say it right there in chat. The focus on this stuff has been, what was it, Pope? Since I left the show and came back, all of a sudden we're doing the charity stuff.
Yeah, it was after you came back, so that would have been what, December or January?
It was like end of January, early February. And that's his deal. We often, when we're doing the show without him,
it's not his deal when you are pushing the fundraisers, when you are on the shows certifying his lie to get money from people. It is not just his deal.
Private, yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Everyone remembers when I got mad at Blue Bacon because he had me and Kate lie for him. He had us publicly lie, and I was pissed, and I made sure I went out and made sure that lie wasn't perpetuated. Easy fucking peasy. They're just saying that they get lied to all the time and it's fine, and they never get receipts and it's fine, and oh, it was his thing. We just facilitated it, supported it, and helped spread it. But it's all on him. No. There's some culpability in that too.
His deal isn't the focus.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His role on the show is to host the show and to do his stuff.
So in the past few months, right? So since all the charity stuff started, was there ever a time throughout that where you thought something ain't right here with the charities?
More recently, the doggo thing really got to me because of.
So like after the dog thing, then. So like after the dog thing, we had this current one where he said that he wasn't working with a charity.
It's something about Liverpool, and he had gotten a fight with the mayor of Liverpool or something. It never sounded properly, but again, you can't get stuff out of Dan.
Yeah. But would you not just, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, would that not have raised enough red flags to be like, okay, I don't know if I should be involved in this, or if I
That's not playing devil's advocate.
Like,
that's being a logical fucking human.
Roughly? Does anybody know?
No clue what the ultimate goal was.
Like, are we talking?
I don't remember.
So like, just think back to like, you know, some of the donations that would have come in, right? Are we talking a few hundred? Are we talking into the thousands? Like this current one was running up into the thousands.
This current one's 3,600, I think. With the goal at 4,000. One of the goals was an interview with you. Remember, we agreed to that at one point before everything hit the fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
thousands of dollars. So just in one of the schemes they helped him with. Crazy.
I mean, even you could have been caught in the stench of this at one point, should everything else not have come out when it did.
So the reason I went on that show that night was because I knew what I was going to be doing in a couple of days.
Right.
I'm so mad I just put a Hershey kiss in my mouth. Bao is number one. Debatable. He's all right. He's somewhat cool sometimes. This is important because, like, as Jim just outlined, one grift alone was over $3,000. That's people's hard-earned money that he's grifting off of what apparently seems to be a fucking lie. So this is important work, trying to protect people, because these people giving money don't have a channel to come on and say, hey, I got grifted. We should call this shit out. This is important. People shouldn't be taking advantage of others this way. Thank you, Walter. It's not work, it's funsies. I have an actual job. That's why a lot of these people don't understand real life, I guess.
That was the whole point of it. So right in the middle of it, I made a very clear, direct statement that I didn't care who was who, that I was going to come after them if they're pulling shit. And I think everybody assumed that I meant coded. But obviously I was talking about Dan.
Ribbit,
so
sir.
when I jumped on there that time,
I was so happy to see you in voice the other day.
After that, because we had already received the
I adore
information
you.
at that
Thank
point.
you for coming.
Because I don't know if you recall, remember I asked you guys a lot of questions. I was like, so what is this charity? What's the what's the goal?
You were a little too obvious about that, because in the background going, okay,
and that's
okay,
he's
pumping up.
That's bullshit. You couldn't catch
a
fucking hint in a bucket, Jim. Could you actually send Shuggy a link on Discord? If I pop Discord up, you guys are just gonna hear the beeps the whole time.
Yeah, I'll send you one.
Thank you. He did ask to come up, and I would like him to come up. Having previously established he was deliberately trying to make the streams more entertaining, he is admitting he is part of the bait for the grift. Thank you. God, Tony, I love you so much. It's his brain. He just says we're all thinking in a better way than we could. Well, Dan, when they get called out, they have to lay low for a bit, and then they have to come back and say how they're better or pretend they got a certificate and not being a crazy person or whatever their strategy is there.
He's after something.
Oh, 100%. And so then when I realized, I didn't know that you guys were up to like 4 or 5 grand at that point. So then as soon as the show was over, or whatever it was, and then I rang Johnny, I was like, fuck this. Now's the time. We got to do this now. Because I knew it. I was like, I can feel it in my bones. Something ain't fucking right. And then I found out after that he said that it was no specific charity, that it was going to be, for an unnamed charity where he was just going to go and hand shit out to homeless people. I was like, nah, I don't buy that shit for a fucking minute, especially with what I know already. You know?
Who, Dan? We've asked him who, and you won't get an answer. And it's just,
I suppose that's why.
Then why help him raise money?
Asked him who, and he didn't get answers multiple times. did it not raise enough red flags to go, fuck this, I'm not getting involved? And that's just me playing devil's advocate, because I know I'd be like, fuck that. Right. If somebody came to me looking to raise money for something and wouldn't tell me what it was for, I'd be like, hell no, you crazy?
But then again, he does get some of the benefit of the doubt because the other stuff, like the stuff for me, went through. The
okay, because he paid you, you let him grift other people.
Is a reputation of actually.
That's literally what he just said. Because he paid me and the payment went through, I didn't question the thousands upon thousands of dollars he was getting for charities that he wouldn't name. Are there people that really are this fucking stupid? Or like, I don't think they're stupid. I think that, in my opinion, this was done for profit. They knew, because everyone's been bringing it up, that he's a lying piece of shit. So like, they already had it in their heads and they didn't care. They didn't care that hardworking viewers were getting conned out of tons of money. No one was knowing where that money went for charity, but the money cleared in your account, Jim. So it's fine. What the fuck?
Getting the items. So we're doing another for, okay, he doesn't want to tell us a charity, okay, but every other time it's gone through, just you get used to it because they're handling it and I'm not involved in that process. Okay, it's for charity, let's just keep doing it, because he's shown before it's gotten to where he says it's going.
Has anyone heard from Dan, or has he gone to ground? James,
I heard.
Great to see you, James.
We've all temporarily left the show. We announced that last night on Mark. Everyone's taking leave from absence, leave of absence. I've officially left the show. We are relaunching on my channel with Karen Reed coverage as of Monday morning. Awesome. And I'll start doing newscasts tomorrow night. And Pope will be on with me. I think Hank's joining us.
Yeah.
So the cat just hit my microphone. So.
Oh God, one of your 13 cats. I have actually said that this appeared to be a Ponzi scheme. I felt what Welsh was doing was like recruiting people, and then when he'd get a little money, he'd give it to them. They would help him get more money. He'd give some back to them, and so on and so forth. It's really what it seems like at this point. No problem, Alexis. The one thing you can always get from me, well, two things: snarky commentary and a fucking harsh dose of reality.
Yes to both.
Not necessarily in that order.
No.
I've got one of those microphones where if you hit the top of it, the light goes out and so does your broadcast, and the cat is trying to rub up against it right now. So if I go out again, it's the cat trying to censor me.
Of course it is. You're just rage quitting. I know.
Yes.
So real quick, thank you so much, Lindy Lou, for the 5 gifted memberships. David Madwin for $5 says, did Jim receive any of the fundraiser money? And then he says, yes, careful, Dan will throw you under the bus when you dump him.
And if he does, he does.
So the question was, did Jim receive
I hope he does. I'm here for it. I got a whole bag of Hershey Kisses. Throw everyone under the bus. Thank you.
But if you want to answer it as it is, I'm cool with that too.
Okay, let's divide this in half. Did I raise money from the monthly fundraisers? No, we don't get money from that. Those go directly to.
Wait, hold on. If you don't know where that money was going, how can you say the money he sent you was not from that money? Right. You reasonably cannot say that. Don't sit here and say you didn't get any money from the fundraisers when you just said you don't know where that money went. You just said that you trusted his fundraising because your money cleared. That doesn't mean it didn't come from the fundraisers. I would not sit here and say that. That's really disingenuous.
Ever supporting the channel. We do not make money off of that channel. They had a specific fundraiser for the newspaper because we had costs. I couldn't pay them.
Benji, spoiler alert.
When it comes to pulling records, I think even Shiz knows that buying records can be very expensive. I just paid like $16 for an article that maybe got 100 views on it because it had 2 of the California court records in it.
$16 for 2 records is pretty cheap.
Those, but it's still out of pocket at first. So we had a fundraiser for the paper. I've made it clear that my GoFundMe for the paper, since the paper is essentially what I do.
I'm getting Turtle Boy flashbacks. I'm so sorry.
Goes also to supporting me, paying bills, keeping lights on, occasionally getting McDonald's.
Getting a job. Do you remember, Jim, when you were looking for a job last year and I encouraged you to continue looking for gainful employment instead of latching on to Welsh? How did that fucking work out? Because I was such a piece of shit for trying to warn you, right? I think a lot of people that if you're fundraising and stuff, like just consider getting a job. Even if it's only a couple hours a day, it gets you out of the house. It's just good for you mentally. Please don't make the internet your life. Please don't. The internet doesn't care about you. I most certainly don't either.
Paper, everything that was donated that I know of was given to me either in Dan buying the items for me off of Amazon or him directly paying the bills himself. Like the site registration update,
Again, how can you say that money did not come from the money he was grifting off of people? You were trying to justify your stance and shield yourself by saying you profited off of it. I'm very confused. All right, we got a super chat, but this one is a spoiler alert. He knew for over a year that Dan was convicted and pled guilty. Later on in this, he is going to admit that the Welsh News Network panelists and I guess adjacent orbiters were aware of the news article about his conviction for fraud. And instead of calling the courthouse as Demon did, we talked the other day, he's like, I'm going to call over there. Got all the information needed in 2 seconds. Instead of calling and trying to verify any information, they let it go. A big issue that I have is when you know someone's been convicted of fraud and then you're helping them with things like this, it's almost like you're facilitating the fraud very knowingly, in my opinion. But yes, they knew for a year, so that kind of negates the victim concept here. Expensive court record fund on Jim's behalf. Thank you so much. I got to keep my blog going, so...
He paid for the site, the cost for actually having the site for the year. He paid for that, and it ultimately, I think there's $100 left that was going to go towards the next Pacer bill. But yeah, so we've received the fundraiser from the paper. We do not receive money from Dan from any of these fundraisers. I don't know if he keeps any. I have no idea if he does. I wouldn't know because I haven't seen the receipts.
Right. And so was that fundraiser specifically for the paper? Like,
yes, it was specific.
When I did the fundraising stream with Kate, for Kate, when she needed a lawyer for Chili, before I even did it, I was like, Kate, receipts have to be public off the rip. I'm not going to go on and ask people to give you money for a lawyer unless it's all out there in the open. And that's exactly what she did. It would have been just as easy for all of his panel members to do the same thing, to require a standard of evidence before asking people to give money. I think that would have been very simple, very easy to do. I've done it several times. Maybe they could have tried that. But again, I personally feel like it was because they were getting paid. Their money was clearing into their accounts, so they didn't give a fuck that people were getting grifted.
Specifically for the paper and advertised for the paper. And if you go to my GoFundMe, it says this is going to go for costs.
Sure.
Excuse me. On the paper itself, in the disclaimers, it says this is going to go for costs, including keeping the lights on and keeping me fed if people donate. I've been clear about that from the start because this is my, it's not very profitable. I only make a couple $100 a month off the paper. But,
it's apparently not profitable at all if you have to fucking fundraise.
What I do. And, I will say that he will help with costs from time to time if I'm having a rough month. He has given me money. I don't know where the money's come from, but $40 here, $100 there, he'll help out. And I will credit him.
No.
Yes. Often, sometimes you get a PayPal one morning. So
this same person,
not for 5 Canadian,
responds, for $2 says hashtag Dan has receipts. And just to clarify for everybody, you don't have to send a super chat. Send a
Nathaniel,
question.
you're
I'm
a
just trying to get
fascinating
through
man.
these so I can get caught up. So we'll try our best to keep answers as concise as we can. But
I will.
That's obviously more of a statement. And that same person for $2 says everyone should fess up. My good friend Stephen from iFuse Network, who keeps me up and running with tech stuff, says for £5, late as usual, brother, love it, take my money before the computer parts supplier does. I'm in so much pain tonight. I hope you make me laugh, brother. I always make you laugh. He had a bit of an incident on a bus today. And I hope you're feeling better, my friend. Yeah, he texted me earlier. He was like, so I'm on the way to the hospital.
Oh my God, Spud.
What now, man? I leave Manchester and then all hell breaks loose. Benji for $10 says, is his real house a castle as well?
Mine or Dan's?
You know what? Let's go with both.
I have no idea what his real house is. You found Dan's real house the other day, as far as I know.
Correct.
As for mine, you can get my address from Coded and look it up on Google Maps. Literally, I think the photo is 10 years old.
I do
so we used
too,
to have
more
a
than
pool out there. We
anything.
no longer have the
Same.
pool, so it was filled in.
And I suppose just off of that, you know, I can ask this question both of you guys. I mean, it's totally up to you if you want to answer or not. But like, did you guys and actually somebody may have already asked this in the same questions. Like, did you guys truly believe that he lived in Kinmel Hall?
No, I didn't.
Okay. No,
so they knew he was lying. Wait a minute.
I never really thought about it one way or the
How many times did they say or do things that would allude to or make you feel like they were certifying that lie? Holy shit, fuck. Hi, Craig. I drove by the Dunkin' Donuts we met at the other day, and I thought about you.
Yeah. The Kinmel Hall thing happened. He sent me, I think it was last April, a PayPal reimbursing me for, I think it was court documents. And it was listed as his address. You know, I got it at 4 a.m. I'm like, what the hell is this? Why am I getting your address?
Oh, we're going to have a
And
guest
he went, very good, whatever, and kind of blew it off. So I had the address. I looked it up on Google, on Wikipedia, because the Google reference said Kinmel Hall. I looked it up on Wikipedia. There is a listing there. And then that was at the very start, yes, shiz. But let me finish this. Kinmel Hall, he then sent, after that, he did send a few people on staff.
I want to point out, he just said that was at the very beginning, but he's also going to say when they were sent proof of his fraud charges in the form of that news article. And it was around the same time I was warning him that Dan was a lying piece of shit. And I instantly became the bad guy because how dare I try to warn people? Crazy.
1 penny PayPals with the same thing. And that's his story right now. But originally he had just screwed up and sent me a PayPal with the address on it.
As Kinmel Hall?
As Kinmel Hall, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. She's happy.
I just want to point out, me being friendly with someone on the internet does not mean they're my friend. I have real life friends. I have a whole life outside of the computer, which is very lovely. But no, Wrangler was a member of my Discord and sometimes joined voice chats. He would ask me for advice on occasion, but he was not my best friend. And the second that I had any inkling about his criminal record, I approached him directly and he welcomed me to pull them, which I have done, which you have apparently enjoyed the content and all of my hard work. So I don't know, maybe say less. Burying your head in the sand does not forgive you. Yeah, this is some ostrich shit, bruh. Bunch of ostriches. There's a growing tendency to assume jobs like scientists, lawyer, journalists can be done by any clown on YouTube. Yeah, they assume a lot of things. They assume human form, I guess. Hi, Shuggy.
Be nice to me. Be nice to me. Hi, guys.
I'm being nice.
I know you are. You always are. Quite
Okay.
what some people say. How are we
I'm
all?
the mean internet lady.
If you say so, Shiz. If you say so.
All right. Do you want to watch Jim try to dance around any sort of accountability or liability?
It's your stream. I'm just here because I'm very aware that as yet I'm the only person not to have made a public statement. So it's all yours.
Would you like to make a public statement? I can remove the video and we can just chat.
No. Shiz, you've got a classic point in the video. Keep it going for a bit. I've got time.
Okay.
This happens says Jim truly believed Dan was rich. I tried to warn him and he got mad at me.
Yeah, that was last May. Shiz and I have not talked on the phone, and other than a few DMs since last May. Things unraveled quickly since then, and we knew the truth about a lot of these things. They were boasts.
Okay, that's fair enough. And I suppose the obvious question there, like, I know obviously people bloviate and make shit up or whatever.
Right.
Did that in and of itself, plus the whole thing about, you know, the fundraisers and stuff, did that tie in, or was like the friendship and stuff blocking that? You know what I mean? I just genuinely
Well, back then, when
because it's easy for me to say looking in, you know what I mean? I just want to get your perspective on it.
Right. That was early stages of the friendship as friendship. You know, I had known him since November. I think I joined the show in
You
late
didn't know
March
him.
when
You
he had his
chatted
heart
with him
attack
online
of last year. He really wasn't around behind the scenes until he was out of the hospital. I say that quote unquote because we all have questions about that. We had
Yeah,
questions
no
about
shit.
that when it happened. The squeaking chair, yeah, that came up. Verbo and I have had many conversations about the squeaking chair, but he swears up and down that it happened, and I can't prove it. I have no video. I have no idea. You know, if you go off camera, how do I know that you're still at your house, Demon? How do I know that right now you're at your house?
I think a preponderance of evidence would be reasonable. So look.
So it was pointed out very much at the time that the hospital gate, if you will, was occurring. That you could hear Dan's squeaky computer chair because he apparently didn't have any WD-40. And he was smoking regularly, which is not allowed in hospitals due to oxygen lines being very kaboomy in that scenario. Jesus Christ. I tried to simplify it for the dullards.
But again,
just for
UK
example, okay?
versus US, there is a difference. And if it was NHS, which he claimed to be to start with, those beds creak, trust me. And I put it down to the fact that I could hear what I thought was an NHS ward behind him. And yeah, I got taken in.
Well, but like, would the hospital let you bring your computer chair from home and chain smoke cigarettes while live streaming?
The smoking always concerned me. But again, if you're a smoker, you find a way to smoke. And had he gone outside, I don't know. Again, as Jim said there, if you're not on camera, you can't see. And
yeah, but like the squeaky chair was a dead giveaway.
Yes, in hindsight, the chair was. However, at the time, it was a hospital bed. It was his drip. It could have been a number of things. And in those days, we weren't thinking he was a grifter.
Well, I mean, but that was post FBI bullshit. So,
yeah, I'm going to leave the FBI bullshit alone. I was in London when that happened. I don't know what transpired at that one.
Okay, I won't hold that against you then.
That caused a lot of grief amongst various factions. I don't know what happened. I have a feeling
it was a lie. Welsh said that he had privileged information. At one point, he directly said his source was the FBI. When I put that clip in Jim Finch's Discord, I was timed out. But he said that he talked to the FBI and that Chili was going to be arrested for child trafficking, basically any day. And then when that didn't pan out, it turned into a lot of nonsense, because if you're caught in a lie, you should just be like, hey, I lied, I fucked up, instead of spinning harder.
I'm having Irish tech issues. Tech. I hate tech.
You're Irish demoning out. Squeaky chairs and mom's vacuums are the highlights of 2023. I agree with you, Lupe.
Okay, I'm in hospital right now, guys. I had a heart attack, and then you hear Chloe walk in the door, or fingers sound. Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, okay, like
there were times when we would hear him moaning after we would hear a female voice, and then him moaning, and he said he had just gotten an injection for something. So
I thought there were going to go a whole different way.
No. But when he was in obvious pain, because when you're in pain, your voice kind of reflects it. So
he's very good at faking that too. I will just point out the time that he beat the shit out of 3 guys protecting a damsel in distress, and then he came on the stream. He was like, "Oh, my ribs," and then that disappeared. It 10 minutes later.
That. It was after hearing the female voices, and
could you guys see her on the screen? You couldn't see her on the screen.
No, he wouldn't. He said that there was a rule in England that you couldn't broadcast from a hospital. That was what he told Turtle Boy. When they had that debate.
I'd imagine a private hospital that you can smoke in, they probably are okay with you filming yourself. But fair enough, that's what he told you. Okay, I'll keep moving if that's okay, because there's quite a few questions have come in. Laura Rader says, so does that mean Jim got the money that was donated to Welsh News Network?
I got the money for the fundraiser, specifically for the paper. Anything else? No. I don't know if he gave me money. I don't know where that came from.
Okay, she's the last question.
One Texas sends $1 super chat. Thank you so much.
I haven't seen Archie's stream. because life got in the way. But personally, I never saw any of the money. The money, into my understanding, nor did Becca, nor did the others. All the money went through Dan. Every single penny of it. You know me, I fall asleep, I'm useless. I was on the periphery of the inner circle. But the money was all Dan. And the problem that I had was every time there was a verifiable recipient, like Jim, like Hezekiah, like Beanie, he paid it. And he paid it fast.
Yeah, he paid it to people that also have some sort of YouTube presence, because when confronted, they would press him for proof.
Absolutely. But again, he gave enough proof that it was believable. And that was my problem. When I saw the food bank, and Irish will tell you, Irish and I discussed this at length. Well, hang on a second. I was Irish's chauffeur in Wales last Wednesday. Let's get that out there. I know,
we spoke.
You and I spoke, but your audience may not have done. Because I wanted Dan to prove to me his service. I'll be absolutely honest. I was purely selfish. I wanted to meet Irish, but that's beside the point. But I wanted Dan to say to my face, yes, I served, and then try and prove it. If he had proved it, I was there to back him up against Irish. But I was 95% sure he couldn't prove it on the spot. And that's why I went to Wales with Irish and Chloe. And Irish has said it time and time again. It was the off-camera conversations we had down there with locals that really cemented the problem. And I'm just hurt and horrified by the whole bloody thing. I really am.
Okay, Namor 18. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm giving my opinion. I have not stated, called for, or caused any violence to befall this man. I'm just saying these people are complicit. And if you'd have an open mind and watch the rest of this, Jim's going to spontaneously admit to some things that I think may change your perspective on him. And even if it doesn't, that's okay. You should just hang around and watch the evidence for yourself before you form an opinion. That's just my 2 cents.
Happens. I'm way behind, but it kind of ties in with what you were talking about there a minute ago, that he was in a squeaky ass chair.
Yes, Shuggy.
I agree. I mean, we've got to look. I mean, Dan does deserve a chance to respond. The fact he's choosing not to is his call, but he's got to be given the chance to respond, I think. And then you guys have to look at all the proofs, both Irish's and Dan's, and make up. It's not looking good, I have to say.
I was like trying really hard to understand the perspective, because I cannot get my cranium that far in my rectum. But what really lost me was when he admitted that they knew about the fraud charge a year ago. I think that negated any chance to sit here and say that any of them were innocent victims or anything of that nature. Once you hear that someone has pled guilty to a fraud charge, that should always be in your mind, especially before you go out and help them get money off of people. So I'm just saying.
No, absolutely.
Were you privy to that? So when Jim said that people saw it last year, did you see that article last year as well?
I can't remember when I saw it. I'll be totally blunt. I cannot remember when I saw it, but I did. And the first thing was, it went, this is not good. And he was convicted and sentenced. And in my mind, so was Team Skeptic, and he's come back from it. And I do believe, forget what happened since then, but at the moment in time, he had paid for his crimes.
Okay, but let's say if Skeptic was caught drunk driving right now, I don't think anyone would support it. So like for Dan being forgiven for that charge is one thing. When you're seeing those behaviors exhibited again, absolutely. I think that's when it needs to get called out.
No, you're right. Absolutely. Since then, absolutely, I agree with you. And he then said he got overturned. As people have said, and as Iris and Johnny have both said, it's very difficult to get public records in the UK. and I couldn't find either the court case, which I knew had happened and knew had been convicted, nor could I find
so
the
there's like a
appeal.
7-year thing. They can't talk about it for 7 years, I guess. Luckily, his charge was 7 years and 3 months ago. That's why Demon was able to call the court and get that information. So in fairness, if you guys did look that up more than 3 months ago, you probably would have had issues. But you could have called the courthouse and they could have verified that there were no active appeals or no overturns on that docket or the case number.
Fair enough, absolutely. But again, part of it was he'd served his sentence. And what then happened negates my last comment. It's not good. I'll be honest. It's not good. And I think you knew when we spoke last, I was having doubts. And since then, I mean,
I'm so sorry. 1 second, Shuggy. I literally just said to watch the evidence and form your own opinion. So I don't know how I'm trying to force my opinion on you. It's literally the opposite of what I just said. Some cognitive dissonance going on there.
And yes, it's very easy now to say that we were all complicit. We were all in on it. We weren't. He always, like any good grifter, he always had a reason and an answer. Should we have checked more? Probably. Hats off.
Well, I think I'm holding Jim to a higher standard because he does call himself a journalist. I know that if that had come across my inbox about someone I knew, I would have damn sure figured out how to call that court. I would have looked into it much deeper. So maybe I'm holding Jim to a bit higher standard there. And especially where Jim's platform, his blog, his online live journal or whatever was used to push these fundraisers. I think that there's a bit more accountability there because he was directly involved in helping bring money in.
So should you and Scott know that you probably had a good 10 or 15-minute meeting before this stream started. We did last night on Mark's channel, and there's a lot of behind the scenes conversations that don't make it to air. Behind the scenes at Welsh News Network, we all were on Dan. I was in phone calls, in Discord, begging for proofs, begging for, I'm on it. Well, my bad. He was on it, and suddenly it was 3 months later. I absolutely own that. Life got in the way. I am so sorry. So, to a certain extent, there's that.
Weren't as involved as some of the people are. I just think when you have a group of grown adults together, right? And this one adult is raising money for charity and everyone's pushing these charity fundraisers and that person's refusing to show you where that money is going or tell you who it's going to, what organization it's going to. I think as adults, everyone should question that. And not only question it, they should stop pushing the fundraisers.
I entirely agree.
At all, if this is real or genuine, or if this person may be grifting, may be taking the money, then stop pushing for more people to give them money.
I think Coda will know the exact answer and he'll conflate it 17 times. I don't think I mentioned a fundraiser once because I was never truly happy. The Susan Cohen, I thought was.
I'm so sorry. This person's having a tough time, and I wanted to directly address them. You are not hated at all. I don't know you. I'm not going to block you. I just asked you to look at the evidence before forming an opinion, and I don't know why that's upset you so much, but that may be part of the reason why you were conned by Welsh so easily. But continue, Shuggy.
So let's look at the two big fundraisers we did. The Mission 22 went straight to their GoFundMe. We didn't touch that. And I like that because we didn't touch the money. Susan Komen, I thought we had covered. And then he then proved receipts. So when we got demonetized, which we all questioned, AdSense apparently takes the money and does not pay you. Where was your AdSense account? When you get demonetized, it's gone. He then claimed he sent the money himself, and we've all asked for receipts on that one. And again, yeah, it's coming. Unfortunately, it never came.
Well, but so
the doggo one.
at what point, like, so what I've heard, I'm hearing from you, what I've heard from Jim and Poop Phil over here is that everyone asked for receipts, was never provided with them, but then kind of just let it go. And I'm just wondering at what point, how many times does that happen before you're like, hey, this guy's fucking lying?
About a month ago, in my case. And that's when I started to question it badly, because he would not give us the dog shelter's name. And then we did the Liverpool one, and that never. I was going to do it myself. Well, okay, provide me with receipts. And he might still do it. I don't know. I doubt it. I seriously, at the moment, because he's just bolted, I seriously doubt it. But like we all know, YouTube is not everyone's primary deal. And life gets in the way. Before you know it, it's another week's gone by, another 3 weeks have gone by. Hands up, it wasn't high on my list of priorities to check it. And when I remembered to do it, I would ask him, and I'd get, oh, it's on its way. And before I knew it, another month had gone by. I'll own that. I'm sorry. I apologize. But you're right. Absolutely, you're right.
I just think like when this thing stuff like this pops off, there tends to be a weird thing where the people in the fray all rush to victimize themselves. And I just want to, and maybe I'm being mean about it, but I've spoken to people who are on fixed incomes with Social Security that gave a lot of fucking money to Welsh, and they're really upset, and they went without for him. So I'm angry on their behalf. I also wanted to point out this comment. It's really weird to leave this comment on a stream that I started by prefacing everything saying that assigning violent words to online criticisms is feeble. I'm just saying that might be why people are having an issue. But okay,
so
Shuggy, let's huh?
I agree with you. I entirely agree with you. And the one thing that's been leveled at me is his service. Do you want to cover that now, or we'll come back to that?
I don't know if it gets brought up in here. I want to try to get through this and then go to bed at some
I'll mute out. Really?
I'm gonna put it on 2 times. Let's see how quick we can get through this.
I said as much to that time. David for $2 says hashtag is someone an incel. I'm sure there are plenty of those in the world. AJ for $2 says Jim Finch.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
There you go. Fair enough. There's your answer.
I'm married, and yes, I am an incel.
Alrighty then. AJ for $2 says Jim Finch. Where did Coke Dog come from? I don't know who Coke Dog is. So
Coke Dog's another character. I think I had Coke Dog yell at you or sing to you or something on that.
If you're a grown adult and you have to do a character on the internet, you should get some fucking mental health help. That's what I've learned so far. So
who, me?
Yes, you. When you appeared on our channel,
steaming on whiskey. I don't remember a fucking thing.
Okay, I told you to turn your literally. Coke Dog used to be my Beavis and Butthead imitation. He's evolved into Coke Dog. Coke Dog supposedly used to be Charlie Chili's dog, who got into Chili's stash that Chili no longer says.
It's giving me Forrest Whitaker eye, guys. I'm sorry.
Doesn't he have a support called
Good actor.
Dog, right?
Good actor.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay, I get you now.
It's Coke Dog. He's high all the
time. So I think you've already answered this one, but I'll just read out again. Why did none of the Welsh News Network panel members question the dog shelter or the homeless donations?
Yeah, we went through that already.
Fair enough. Shiz Happens says constantly co-signing his lies and grifts are an issue.
That bitch is smart.
More of a statement.
Kind of a cunt though.
Okay.
That's kind of more of a what say you kind of thing, I suppose. But if
Shiz and I have been at odds since May of last year. So I mean, you want to throw mud, then throw mud. I'm here to tell what I know.
I'm not throwing mud.
Alrighty. Mechanics says,
is
Jim,
honesty
did you guys actually why that he lived in Castle? Okay, we
Let's
already
get dirty.
I know a lot of these questions will double up because the timing and stuff. She says everyone questioned Dan for a year. They doubled down on supporting his lies and grift while going after anyone who questioned Dan.
I never went after
I know, for example, Dear McCostello got a lot of fucking heat from people when he started questioning Dan first. I don't know who though. I know he's told me a few people, but you know what I mean? So that kind of stuff definitely has happened. I know I got it when I
hang on a second.
When I kind of questioned him on a few things.
You got blowback from people.
So that's an interesting one. Dermot and I have an interesting history, as with mechanics, and I'll both tell you this. But at some point, it went from me talking to Dermot in Irish's stream, talking about whiskey and everything else, to him saying the vilest things about me and others on WNM, but me specifically. And at that point, your brain goes, and this whole attack. Yeah, attack. And you cannot see. You want to defend your friends, and at that point, I didn't really have enough to damn Dan. I was enjoying being with the other guys on the team, and I enjoyed laughing at Chili before he went deranged. But it was
I get that, and like that's so common in online situations. I think a lot of the frustration was brewing from people, like from an outside perspective, the Welsh News thing. People knew it from the beginning. When me and Kate first covered, there were so many people that like knew that guy was full of shit, and I think that people get this built up, I guess, emotionality about it as time goes on. Like, why the fuck aren't you seeing this? You know what I mean? I get that frustration with people sometimes too. Like, this is going on right in front of your face. Why aren't you seeing it?
No, that is a very fair. Well, in our case, I think we were too close to it, in all honesty. And, no one came at us with receipts. I think you'll notice the first time we saw outside from our own, we've all, I hope, done the right thing. There's no excuse. Are we leaving the sinking ship? Yeah. But when we having been confronted with the receipts and what I heard in Wales, I was done. Bluntly, I was done. I think I was done. If I'm honest, I was
honestly,
done before that.
I think after seeing that news article, a lot of people should have been done. He was doing some very grifty things off the rip, and I think that should have been a huge red flag for everyone. But you guys could identify as bulls. I don't know. I'm not going to assume.
The one red flag I missed, I'm pissed off that I missed it, was when we first started this after the Mission 22 fundraiser, which again was legit, and it went straight to them. We all said backstage one night, let's use YouTube charity shit, and Dan shot it down. And I cannot remember the reason why he gave. But in the current events with current proofs, it's bloody obvious why you don't want to do it.
There's a lot of concern in the chat. I just want to point out Blue Bear is alive and well. He's fine, guys.
Yes, he is. He is currently renovating. He's currently renovating a rather nice antique truck. So I'm going to try and see him because I'm quite jealous. He's got this truck and a workshop and living his best life. I spoke to him via chat the other day. Just saying. So where were we before that was said? God. So it was
more.
Yeah, keep going. I have a cigarette while we listen.
People, but I don't take part in online drama, so there was a drama channel on my Discord that we set up last year that they could come in, except it was Dan went in and banned everybody at one point. He found a way to bypass the tools in Discord. Daily, he would go in and change Shiz's name and ban her for like a couple of days there, where I'm just, what did he do now on my server? And he can get back in. Tad Gibson, yes.
So I respectfully, I don't know who Tad Gibson is, but Tad Gibson says, I got the money they raised for me. I don't know what that's about.
That's one of the supporters.
Okay, cool. And that's the thing. I'm not for 1 minute suggesting that there was no circumstances where people got all of the money that was supposed to have been handed out, or that there isn't circumstances where he was genuinely trying to help people. I'm not saying that for a minute. I'm not saying that like literally everything he does is shit. It's just some of the ones, the bigger dollar ones, are the ones where there's just nothing. There's nothing.
Right.
And that's concerning. Myself and Johnny O and loads of others have asked. I said to him the other day, I know you don't want to say the name of the dog shelter publicly, but if you want to tell me privately, and then at least I can go to people and say, okay, he told me, I checked it out, and it's all G, and hope that people would accept what I'm saying on that is truth, but he never did. So, Rattius Hattis says, question, was Jim looking forward to flying to Wales to be fitted for a custom suit of armor for the wedding? I don't know what that's about.
I didn't know there was a custom suit of armor for the wedding. Was there? So that's news to me, actually. If you're on a show where we're bullshitting for 5 hours, I'm sure there's a custom suit of armor or whatever. We're filling.
Gia said I didn't go after anyone, and just in case I missed something inside chat, I certainly wasn't saying that anyway, because you didn't come after me. We had a frank discussion one night, and we sorted whatever issues we had out. But there was other scenarios where people were kind of fucking nasty to me, and I'm like, it's water off a duck's crack to me. Like I had a big conversation with some people earlier that I felt needed to happen, not because it would make a huge difference if I didn't resolve some things that I need to resolve, because I genuinely care. And otherwise I just wouldn't bother. Like I would just be like, whatever. But that's not my style. I'm like, okay, I actually care. So I'm going to fucking talk to people and try to sort things out. If I fuck things up, I fuck things up, and we can resolve some shit. And some people I never met before, and I'm like, okay. Anyway, that's just to point that out because that shit can happen.
We had a row earlier, and we sorted it out.
And we sorted it out, and I prefer to do it that way anyway. I think that's better. Laura Rader says, question: if Jim got no money for the ice cream donations, why honor those donations to Dan? Actually, that's a very good point. Are you still going to honor the whole ice cream thing now, knowing what you know? If you get me?
Yeah, I addressed that at the start of the show. My mom literally just walked in with milkshakes, and that's ice cream. I can't have it. I threw it. It's in the refrigerator now to get poured down the sink as soon as I can get in there. I made a commitment. I am standing by the commitment. I don't care if it was bull.
Shuggy, can you just say on the record that all this shit's weird? Like Jim Finch's shit is just kind of weird. Can we agree on that?
No, I won't say weird. I'd say bloody weird.
Thank you. Okay.
But I do, again, wherever the money went is currently up for, we need to find out. I grant that. But people paid money for Jim to do something. For him to honor it does say a wee bit about his character. Okay, he is odd, but again, he's honoring a commitment, which I think is a
well, yeah, but I mean, a commitment that Dan seemingly profited off of. I would have used it as an opportunity to draw attention to his grifting, but that's just me.
As we now know, you're absolutely right. But again, when this started, we weren't certain.
Well, no, he's saying right now that he's honoring it, even though he doesn't know how much money, and I don't know. It's all weird. It's
bullshit.
All very weird.
Paid
How long is this
I
live?
agree.
Oh,
God. Ice cream. And I am not going to go back on my word because what they should know going forward, because I would hate for anyone to continue.
It gets feisty towards the middle because I start being a cunt, and so does everyone else, which is awesome.
Fun, and Jim and I have fun together, and Hank and I have fun together, and Shuggy and I have fun together. So why did I continue to go on the panel? Because I'm just going there for the laughs.
Yeah.
The fundraiser part was not a big deal to me.
We're not making money off the fundraiser.
I don't know.
Hopeville doesn't even matter. I don't know why he was on this.
I'm not on there for the fundraiser. I'm on there for the laughs and the jokes.
Lisa says, Daisy, I'm not going to argue about it, but Demon or Johnny have not presented any evidence about the others, and I believe they said they have none. I'm not sure what that was about, but if you could fill me in on specifically what you mean there, I can answer that one for you. Laura Rader says, question, wouldn't a journalist with his own newspaper website investigate where the money went?
If I was given...
Hold on. God dang it.
But again, right now, I'm part of the
Yes,
story.
Laura Rader.
Yes. I should have got my tiny hands.
So
how are you not always prepared?
What I know,
how dare I?
Exactly why I'm here. I'm giving the evidence out of
Scotto, fail.
I can't report on myself. That's just me.
I had one job, Shuggy.
That's just the line I draw. If someone else wants to do that reporting, I will support it. I'm not going to quash it. I will participate. But, there's a line to cross when you're reporting on yourself.
Right.
And how do you know that the facts you're saying to your audience?
Bullshit.
How would
fucking
they know?
Shit.
I could say, if I put Jim Finch is innocent of every charge, well, yeah, I'm Jim Finch. I'm going to say I'm innocent of every charge. So
what a cop-out. I couldn't look into it because I'm involved. Fuck out of here. If something's wrong, it's wrong. If the evidence is there, the evidence is there. If you're involved and you're complacent in it and you're not looking for the evidence, then you're just as bad. So, jeez Louise.
I'm not going to report on something I'm directly involved in, but I will help anyone like you right now. If you want to get to the truth, I'm telling you what I know, and you do with it what you will.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is just an opportunity for people to feel out what's going on and, all that kind of stuff. Sarah Marie for £5 says, lots of people wouldn't heed the warnings about various people. Frankly, I know I got fed up trying to convince certain people. I think a lot of people felt that way, that a lot of people were kind of reaching out to folks saying, hey, like, this guy's full of shit, like, you should probably be careful or whatever. But
everyone needs tiny hands.
Point, you get used to the blow-ups. Dan is every 2.5 months there's a blow-up about Dan. You don't know if it's true, if it's real. Sometimes it's just something out of the blue that they latch on to that Dan supposedly said, then it turns out he didn't. But every 2 months there's a blow-up, and it does get to you. When I was leaving the show.
Yes, darling.
Jim's right about that, is that every now and again, Dan would go on a fucking rant. Excuse my French. And
but then again, like, why continue to? I think a lot of people in Demon's chat and me in particular, because I'm very vocal, why continue to deal with that behavior if there's so many red flags and all I've heard is that interactions with him were difficult and you had to be strategic. Then fucking why bother?
Okay, I was about to say, but he was very clever in that he kept them to him and Becca, and slightly at that point, I then became there just to make sure Becca was okay. But he would have conversations with him and Hank, him and Jim, him and Becca, him and myself. And all of us, as it's turning out now, as we're all talking, we're getting different stories. But as far as we were concerned, what he told us is what he told the other members, and it was odd. And yes, with hindsight, you're absolutely right. But day to day, it was odd. Yeah, I'm regretting staying as long as I did. But I
do you feel
enjoyed
like I'm attacking you? My criticisms are apparently. Do you feel like I'm attacking you?
Yeah, but I think you've got a right to. You're not. No, you're not. You're not attacking me. You're not attacking me. But you are holding me to account, which is different, I suppose. Yes, but no. I mean, if I know you, Shiz, I know what you're going to do to me up here. I'm still here.
Well, yeah. I mean, people always think I'm like this mean, crazy internet lady, and I just want to get down to the bottom of the truth. And I'm going to be very blunt with my opinion. I appreciate that you have the balls to handle it. It's refreshing.
In, December,
Game on.
Real part of it where it just gets old, just defending the same old stuff or getting hammered by people when you've got no involvement.
Punches, man. I'm not punching nobody.
Interrupting Pope Phil.
Look at how tiny my hands are. You think I'm punching anybody?
She's asked, "What's your Discord name?" I don't know if that's aimed at me or.
I honestly stop.
Name. We just texted the other day.
My middle daughter is an absolute bloody nightmare. She's an 18-year-old American teenager, and she had this thing for a long while about, a T-Rex with tiny arms.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you do your tiny hands, all I think about is T-Rex in his tiny hands trying to scratch himself. I hate you for it.
Right? Oh my! If you're a T-Rex and like you get an itch on the back of your leg, what are you doing? Are you curling up? Like,
if you're a male T-Rex, you've got a bigger problem, right, Scotty?
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but how do you? That's going to be a very serious quality of life issue.
Well, in that case, you call Michael Cerrone because he'll scratch your balls for you.
Who?
Contact you something.
What do I miss now?
Michael Cerrone, his nickname is Ball Scratcher because one time on a live stream he scratched his balls allegedly and then sniffed it, so he's called Ball Scratcher.
Oh no, someone in the chat, dumbass. Don't call Jim a dumbass. That's not very nice.
Yeah, don't call me a dumbass. If you want to call me, used to be good friends. We split over the Dan issue and other issues.
You guys broke up?
Okay, I want to set the record straight right now. Me and Jim French were not good friends. We were internet friends, who talked once in a while. We were not good friends. Demon tries to make a joke and allude we were dating. I assure you, Jim is far too old and underemployed for that position, and that position's already been filled currently.
Here's an odd thought, Shiz. Here's an odd thought for you. And it's something I've always thought about, and you'll know this because we've maintained contact despite being ostensibly on different sides of several fences.
There's no sides. Okay.
Why? Well, no, being side of a fence. Yes, there is. There's a front and the back of a fence. Come on. But seriously for a second. Dan kept burning bridges, and I could never understand why. And I thought, well, that's just the way he treats people, or that's the way he interacts with people. I'm Switzerland. I try and remain as neutral as possible and take both sides of it. But he kept burning bridges. So we were always sort of the in hindsight, it's only coming to view now. This is me thinking out loud. We were on the outskirts of everything. We were never part of anything because Dan kept burning bridges. Does that make any sense?
No, I understand. And I mean, it's a tactic that we see a lot. You have to demonize the people who are speaking out against you so that you maintain your people.
Odd.
Hellson, don't sexualize the bitches.
Yes, she is sitting in her chair at her desk, filling herself with coffee in tiny hands. Next.
Oh God, he was hitting me up with screenshots. Is this juiciness? Oh, is Welsh's Discord talking about me? Oh, they are. It would be a shame if I have all the screenshots expeditiously. It's crazy how that happens. I'm not even time to use shit right now.
Time to use a red.
I want to finish this damn video. I'm determined. I usually don't live stream much more than an hour.
Well, we weren't. We were friends.
It's starting to feel weird.
Okay. Karen's saying that on
we weren't. No.
I heard that. I heard it.
Oh, yeah, here it comes. But
we'll be using that later.
Shiz, my number has not changed. if you want to talk after this, give me a call. I tried to
I
reach
don't
out
want
to
to
you the other
talk to
day. You were
you.
at work. I will say that. I was calling to clear the air. So if you want to clear the air after this, then go ahead. I apologize to you directly for anything that has happened. I was trying to keep things under control last summer when freaking Dan was going into my server every day trying to ban you and change your name. So I ended up giving up on my Discord server. My Discord server is famous because there's an auto mod on to discourage.
Did you give up on it? Because I'll put the screenshots in my Discord of when I came to you and said, why am I timed out in your Discord for posting evidence of Dan's statements? And your response was that you weren't home and you were going to figure it out. And then you tried to play some fuck troll shit and it didn't work out too well for you. So, but you keep taking money that man fucking grifted off of people. That's cool.
People from taking part because it's just a server set up where it's taking links from Twitter or taking links from YouTube of all the auditors. So
Gia, I'm not an attention hoe. I'm an attention whore. And if you want to talk shit in Welsh's Discord, I can send you a link. You can come talk to me directly. You're in my Discord.
So
you can come into the voice anytime. Stop sexualizing me though. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I am reading some of those screenshots.
Guadalupe says for $5, commercial break. Cabbage is evil. Not when it's going in. This message is sponsored by Dear McCostello. Back to our regular schedule. Dan Roast.
I will agree that I don't know what she's referring to, but cabbage in itself. Yeah,
I'll be right back. I got a frantic message. I have a bat. So hold on. I'll be right back.
There's a bat
did I
flying
miss
around.
Poop Phil showing his face? Dang it.
He has done.
Roast
I will agree that I don't know what she's referring to, but cabbage in itself. Yeah,
I'll be right back. I got a frantic message. I have a bat.
I just think it's funny.
There's a bat.
It says just for future reference, folks.
Which Welsh is. So
when I was down in Aberfraw, like people, I know he's clearly Welsh because he speaks Welsh. And if you're not from Wales, there's Cornwall, I think.
Okay.
I'm skipping ahead because I'm getting sleepy.
Like, guys, I'll be real. Like, I've always had a great relationship with Gia, and I know we had a little bit of a mini falling out.
I don't apparently. I don't even know this chick, and she fucking hates me.
And then we sorted it out, and I've never seen her go nasty to anybody. I'm like, I've never.
She gets nasty with me, demon.
Bro, I think that's a joke about what? I'm not sure. But if claim that he was, I wouldn't be fucking surprised.
Not like if he was
because she hates Kate, and I'm apparently Kate. So
and the number would go up, but the number has stayed the same for months now. So I don't know.
I will say, okay, I want to comment on this part. Somebody had asked if they knew Dan was buying subs, yada yada. I will say there seems to be some sort of correlation between Miss Mandy being around a channel and that channel suddenly jumping up in subs that are clearly bought. I'm not going to put that on Dan because I've noticed that pattern.
I asked that specific question because I don't know how YouTube works. I'm not a creator. I'm just a panel member. And the claim that came back to me from him was that they had employed, which I didn't even know, Miss Mandy as a social media manager. And they'd apparently you can run a campaign within YouTube where you buy additional reach. Does that make any sense? Do you see what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
So your videos get seen by a bigger number of people, your potential audience. And that's what he claimed to me. I know you can do it on Facebook because I've done it for various campaigns I used to be a part of in the US. You can buy additional reach. You're not buying subs. You're not buying views. You're buying the fact that this content will appear on more news feeds than it did yesterday. That was the excuse I got for why, and again, it was Mandy doing it. She was the social media manager, which I think was BS anyway. But
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't assign that to Dan because that is very like she went around Codeds and all of a sudden Coded jumped up to 1,000. I think she tries to assert her value by saying, "Oh, look, since I came around, your subs are up." I think she's doing that artificially for sure.
But also, I have an honest question for which I don't know the answer to. Is a sub count really that important? We covered at one point Gunner TV.
Nothing on the internet is really important because you can just shut it off and it doesn't fucking exist.
That is true. But we covered Gunner TV's coverage of Chile. And Gunner has millions, I don't know, but millions of viewers. Personally, if I'm going for YouTube and I get a hit on a video that I like, to remember where it was, I will subscribe so I can go back to find it. I might never, ever go back to that channel again. But I've done it once, and therefore I am a tick in someone's box, so to speak. So I wonder how many of that jump was around the Gunner TV. We got some people coming in for that who hit subscribe just to remember the channel. and then never come back. I don't know.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, it does seem very artificial the way it jumped.
Probably, but again, I have no knowledge. I don't know. I don't know how you buy it.
My opinion, given the evidence, is that when Miss Mandy gravitates a channel, it gets botted, it gets purchased subscribers and views. But okay, I want to get through this. I want to get to Jim admitting that they knew everything.
Like in, I think, October, he started doing shorts, which brought in a lot of people. He started doing those damn movies, those old movies, which I think is why we got in trouble. They were supposedly like Steve Miller. I don't know.
An answer for him. It's just, I suppose the question was, were you aware that he was? And
no, it was.
Okay. All right, that's fair enough. Benji for $5 says, why be friends with a scumbag? Why support scumbaggery, or as we call it in Ireland, horse cockery?
Everybody's got that friend who's an asshole, but he's your friend.
No, I don't support scumbags.
I got a few friends that are assholes. I definitely wouldn't support that kind of stuff myself, even if it was my friend and he was an asshole. But it's, you know, it's your question to answer, I guess. So, you know. So Susie Y asked, when was Irish Demon on Welsh News Network? You just go and look for the live stream that has the most fucking views. And I know I was on, what was it, last week, or was it
last Friday?
A week ago Friday, yeah.
And he wasn't there, Friday, remember that.
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because Dan wasn't there that night.
Yeah, that's why it was so much fun.
Like,
and
Jim trying to shit on Dan like he wasn't just licking his gooch
like,
yesterday. It was crazy.
Look at me. I am the Dan now. I'm like, I went in, I put my bollocks on the table and said, fuck you, this is my show for the next 2 hours. And then I pulled what I pulled, and that's why I did it. I was like, I'm going to go in and wipe my ass all over your squeaky chair and then do what I'm about to do. And that's what I did.
If he did that in my car, it'd be trouble.
About it. That decision wasn't made lightly. I was genuinely concerned about the fallout. That's why I reached out to people. I talked to people. I've been talking to people as much as I can. And I will answer questions for people who are confused or maybe want to know what my motives are or whatever. What I won't put up with, though, I'll put up with being called an asshole until I can kind of explain whatever, right? But what I won't put up with is being disrespected, because what I say to people is, don't say something to me on the internet that you wouldn't say to my face and expect me to act in a different way. And that's fair, you know what I mean? Yes, I go after people, but I try to treat them with respect as much as I can. But, you know,
my whole thing with the, you attack people thing is like, hell yeah, I'm going to shit down the throats of bad people. I will bully bullies all day. I don't care. That doesn't, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be mad when people shed light on shitty behavior. Because again, at the end of the day, I get so passionate about this stuff is because I'm talking to people who are directly affected by it. I talked to someone who went without so they could give Welsh money for a charity, and money never fucking went there. So I think everyone should be on board with calling out shitty behavior. We should be protecting each other from this type of behavior because it's not right.
How long have we got left in Irish's video?
About an hour. I have it on 2 times speed.
Half an hour.
Let the record reflect, I do support devil's cabbage, not actual vegetable cabbage. I got you. So I can't buy regular cabbage, only weed. It'll be hard to adhere to, but I'm sure I can manage.
No, you're fine.
As a furry, we do not claim this not bot. Yeah, there a lot of people have claimed he's a furry, and Becky has confirmed that the furries don't claim him.
Tough one now. That's a tough one. I think you kind of walked right into that one. Says, you're on here admitting the show sucked when Dan was on. Why did you continue to stay on his panel? That's a very fair question, because I thought it sucked when he was on there too. Just being
but most of the nights it sucked, I wasn't on. Remember, I have nights off, and most of the time I would leave when it was nights of puppies and kitties and whatever.
Okay, so you weren't there for the sucking?
No, I wasn't there for the sucking or the blowing. Sorry. But on nights where I produce.
Why does it always have to be sexual, you dry dicks? Jesus Christ.
Either drunk girl or stupid criminal or
so frustrating
or whatever. Sometimes it was old Chili, since Chili's been in jail. So we'd at least have something to watch that was interesting that we could make fun of.
I bet he was really it was like a bittersweet thing, I think, for him when Chili got jailed, because he was like, yes, this is going to be a great show, but also, oh, fuck, I've got nothing to talk about for the next 3 months.
Yeah. It's been painful with Here's the Deal. I can't stand that guy. It's just so boring.
Like they would eat it, Lupe.
You know, in fact, when you came on, we had
protection services
up because that's all we had, because that's all that was going on that night. And when you came up, I was so happy just because I had just done 8 hours of Karen Reed. I was tired, and I knew that once you started talking, that would be 2 hours. That would fill the whole 2 hours, and we wouldn't have to do Here's the Deal. I suspected you were up to something, but I would rather listen to you than listen to Brian from Here's the Deal.
I would rather listen to a cat
because you're much more
get attacked by a Fisher cat.
Here, you are way more entertaining than Here's the Deal or Chili DeCastro.
Fair point. I can't argue with that. What is drunk girl stuff? Because I don't know what that is.
That's just the videos of people being arrested, DUIs. Usually, when they're drunk, they do something funny.
Then I'm the girl for you.
I've covered a few that are kind of funny. You know, I think some of them are.
It's a standard time filler if there's nothing else going on. We use them on the Karen Reed coverage. The big deal is the audience likes to guess the VAC. You know, at the end, the surprise reveal of the VAC comes up. I don't know. People like that stuff. Just like we
10 people like that shit.
We take bets as to how many sidebars there are of the day, and the winner gets to go back in time and collect a new car from Chile.
Yeah, the drunk girls
Shuggy.
thing
Sorry,
is
Shuggy,
mostly
Shuggy's gonna kill me 'cause sometimes
semi-naked
I
younger
slip up and
women.
call him.
Oh, purely
Chrysler
for the
Cordova
sheer,
with Corinthian leather. Let's be
Yes,
specific about
1978.
for the sheer Australianism that I've just immediately spotted here in this one. So you've given yourself away because this is as Australian as you can. It says, let's cut the crap. And I'm going to be honest with you, this part is not nice. He says,
I know,
you're a dog cunt. And now in Australia, I just want to clarify, that seems like an extremely harsh or, you know, things like that. So he says,
Can I make it faster?
Now you're throwing him under the bus, loyal much.
Yes.
What say you would, sir?
Okay.
2 times.
We finally, just like everybody else, you're still finding out the story. You haven't even heard my story.
Is it going to be hard to follow in 2 times? I feel like my ADD is going to like fuck up.
So
I'm get confused.
Coming together, and it's conclusive. Like today, I learned something from watching the plot hole that would have impacted my friendship with him permanently if I had known that that event had happened, like Johnny says it happens. And I do not have any, you know, reason not to believe Johnny when he said that happened on that day. I wouldn't have even been on the show to begin with. So it depends on with a story this complex, and you will get it from the person I put you in touch with today who has actual documents.
It's not very complex.
So
you guys were all
sort of
deceived, and even over an extended period of time, didn't realize it enough to walk away and stop facilitating the behavior. It's really not that hard to understand.
Okay. I suppose from what I'm seeing in the side chat, I won't bring it up specifically because I got this one up already, but the general consensus, I'm just going to say, is like,
yeah, he wasn't very nice.
All the red flags and the warnings over the past year or so, like, is it too little too late now that it's just because it's kind of come crashing down? Or do you understand where I'm coming from?
If it's too little too late, then I have to live with it and I have to make it right. But I mean,
can I argue with that?
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm
absolutely
here.
Absolutely. I can argue with that.
I don't.
You have to
I don't
take
spend a lot of time
accountability for that.
Online or on YouTube or Discord or anything like that, right? I'm just a peripheral person there for the laughs. So it's too little too late. It's too little too late.
I mean, as what he said, I just go back to my old job, give this up. You know, I'll find it in my old field. I care about certain people here, but what can I do if you're always going to say that's not enough? How much is enough?
I actually just going to come back to Aaron's question in a second, because in fairness, there are some good points here as well, right? So Simon Ross says, I was Welsh News Network supporter up until recently too. In retrospect, I ignored a lot of red flags. And then Epiphanies, who's in a perfect position to say this because we've had this conversation, the two of us as well, says lots of judgment from people who obviously haven't been manipulated by anyone before. And I think that needs to be remembered here as well. And I did say this openly.
You can be manipulated before, but like, I don't care how manipulated I've been. I will never help someone fucking con people. Not once. So, like, I mean, there's plenty of justifications and shields that we can use for this behavior, but at the end of the day, it was all grown adults that were facilitating this. And at the end of the day, there are real people that are now without funds that could have really helped them. So I don't want to hear excuses. I'll be the cunt. I don't care.
And I got a bit of shit for it. But I was like, wait,
and face it, the $8,000 goal of forcing a tramp stamp on Dan, everyone should be behind that one.
I mean, I would do that. I would definitely do that, but I still would want it to be going to the actual charity. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. All right, on to the next one. We got Benji for $5 says, is there a way to check UK military service records? It's not easy or impossible here in the States. It's quite difficult. It's impossible in Ireland, pretty much. It's almost impossible. The UK, yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy there. There's let me see here now. It's not fair. There are genuine questions only, no, please. I appreciate you chatting all.
I have no knowledge of any OnlyFans.
No, that kind of stuff. Like if it's a Gen 7, 2 bolts, this is getting interesting. Damn fucking right it is. Thank you very much. Lana Hader says, Irish team, to be fair, the Navy stuff, you say he spoke to his past friend's family and they said he didn't. I believe it, but that's not technically proof until the friend or family says it themselves. So actually, funny enough, I covered this in the phone conversation. Deal of it, he made proof.
I'm just skipping through to see where the interesting parts are.
So for example, I can't
this is hurting me.
Dan wasn't in the Navy. If he was in the Navy, I might be able to get a document to say Dan was in the Navy. I can't get a document to all know him and be like, he clearly was
sorry, Spud.
Like, because he doesn't know enough about it. It's obvious. Photograph him on a ship, whatever. Doesn't matter what it was. He could give us anything, and that would be good.
He just went threat. So
yeah. Colin says Stephen asked to see his defense discount card. I've asked him for so many things, and he has provided absolutely nothing ever. This before this even broke, nothing. He refused point blank. I can't find the photo. I can't find this bollocks. David for $2 says, oh Jesus Christ, I think this was back when you were talking about the.
Oh God, and inadvertently that goddamn clown suit was John Wayne Gacy, and that fucking creeps me out. I got it off of Amazon. They said I.
Okay, so you say sexual statements as a character that you call a little kid, and you have a John Wayne Gacy clown costume.
That was creepy. That was
it's all pretty creepy, Shuggy.
Well, but specifically the clown costume, I was driving south to go and meet Irish, re-listening to that stream, and I almost crashed a couple of times. Have to say.
I can't. I just can't.
Look just like the serial killer John.
Where's the timestamp of when he friggin' admits that they knew for a year?
So I had a very serious medical thing go on.
Damn it. Okay. I'm gonna share the link to that stream. I'm gonna put it in the description because this is hurting my brain. But I suggest everyone goes and watches it anyway. It's a fascinating psychological study. And again, very common reactions that we see in these sorts of situations online when they all kind of blow up. Shuggy, who the fuck is Alice, would like to know, you backed him being in the Navy. Shuggy, what say you now? And I mean, I talked to you about this privately too, but
I'm horrified. I'm angry. I did some research. I found a D.M. Jones who served the Royal Navy.
Well, and so I'll point out for anyone that's not from like over there, Daniel Jones is a super popular name over there. So in trying to research it, unless you had very specific things, it's like we saw with Kaiser. Michael Kaiser, there is a Michael Kaiser that's actually a decorated veteran. It's not Murd Burglar, Michael Kaiser. But sometimes when you research these things, especially if you don't have very solid specific social security number, birth date, you can get mixed up. And from what I ascertained, Shuggy did try to look into it, but there are a lot of Daniel Joneses. There was one that did serve, and you took that to be Dan.
I did. I mean, there were more than one, but the one I found that interested me was same branch, I marine engineer, same rank on discharge, and approximately the same dates. So too many things in my stupid brain lined up. It wasn't just a Dan Jones or a Daniel Jones. So
it aligned with a story he told.
Correct. I now know why. Also, when it came to his service, he had just enough stories and things to drop that it made sense to me. So he would talk about he was on HS Nottingham, not up. Type forget, can't remember. But I was on Argyle. He knew just enough, which I now remember and think when I look, that I could see that was public record. If you ask me about Argyle, you're going to get the stupid shit behind the scenes that no one knows. Things like that. I mean, we've been having in Discord story time recently where we just tell stupid stories about our service, not him, but other people. And we never talk about going to war. We never talk about shooting people. We never talk about the sexy stuff. We talk about day to day, a 10-day crossing of the South China Seas, stealing a garden gnome in Portsmouth and taking around the world with us. Things like that. So
I remember watching a live where you guys were talking about military stuff and you said something and he didn't know what you were talking about. And you even said, you should know about that. Or to that effect. And I was like, oh, Shuggy's catching on.
No, I was. But again, I had my 3 points. Honestly, I served 35 years ago. My memory of those times is addled in a couple of glasses of whiskey and several packs of cigarettes. But there's enough there that I do know about X, Y, and Z. And what's that comment? No, he never said we served together. He said we could have crossed paths, and that is true. After I left, I went to several naval events where he could have been. Had he been Dan Jones, marine engineer, he could have been there. Absolutely could have been. And I can't prove or disprove that. Did I actually physically stand and talk to him at a party? No. I never said I did. And he never claimed I did either. So I feel, yes, I will take that on the chin.
A lot of this gets the water's really muddy because
it is.
Like Coded's been covering it and not just him specifically, but a lot of times when people are going over stuff like this, they're interjecting their opinion while they're giving the information. And then some people take their opinion as part of the information. So I mean, it gets really murky.
That particular character is a huge part of my issue at the moment. There's so much vitriol coming out of his channel that we could have said that the earth is flat and the sky is purple. Or the earth is round. He said, no, it's flat. No, the sky is actually pink. The moment we said something, Cody came out with the opposite opinion. And too much energy was spent because everyone would then come and ask us questions about what Cody had said, and everyone would go to different channels. And you spend your entire life fighting off comments of someone that doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. That you can't actually spend time doing what you want to do, which is, hang on, what did Dan say about that? Did I miss that? And I've now had a week of this because Irish got hold of me a week ago. And that is why I decided to go down to Wales with him. And I wanted Dan to prove to me he served. And I feel he used my service.
Gia, don't you come in here and join the drama whores? Or wait, I'm not a drama whore, I'm just a hoe, right?
Hey, Gia.
Sometimes when your Discords that you think I won't see, I get sent all the screenshots anyway. You've learned this before, I feel like. Do better.
But, I want to go down to Wales on Wednesday with Irish. I wanted Dan to, the one person that Dan could show any proof of his military service to, and know.
Do you think that he'll be receptive? Do you think that he'll speak to you guys?
I don't know. And the other thing that upset me was his bloody service ID card, his veteran's ID card. As a disabled vet, and again, I can't prove his disability. I don't know. I'm now questioning it. I didn't before. As a disabled vet, he would have a veteran's ID card, and I saw he had a corner of one. This is so new, they're not being forged or faked at the moment. There are no benefit to having an ID card, military veteran's ID card. I want to see what he showed Hank and myself. And I want to hold it myself and prove it's fake or it's real. I'm the one person in this whole thing that can stand there and actually verify what I'm seeing or holding. And I want that. That's why I went south with Irish last week. And I think I'm owed that. I'm sorry, Dan, I'm owed that. As to the grifting, yes, I'll hold up. I didn't investigate it or question it deep enough. I'm sorry.
Well, and again, I'm holding Jim to a higher standard because he claims he runs a news blog, website, live journal, whatever. I do hold him to a higher standard on that because I know personally that when something crosses my path and it smells like shit, I investigate to see if it's shit.
So what's interesting is the US-UK mentality. In America, you seem to be far more doubting first, approving second. I don't know why. It's cultural. It's not an excuse. I'm not excusing anything. But over here,
we're more skeptical. We're a bit more jaded.
Yes, fair enough. I'll give you that.
I really think that's what we're more skeptical because we've seen more shit. I've seen so many people get conned that I saw Dan coming a mile away.
Fair enough. I haven't. My bad.
Well, no, it is your fault. Fuck you, Shuggy.
We've had that conversation before now too. But over here, when I left the Royal Navy, I walked up to meet with the captain. We had a quick conversation, and he has a pre-printed form which said sub-lieutenant name, has served on my ship HMS, insert name here. And then the captain is supposed to write, oh, he did so well, he whatever. When I went to my captain, he gave me my report. And at the end of the typing bit where he's supposed to write his comments, he put full stop. You shit. I shook his hand, walked off, drove to the naval stores, handed my kit. I was done with the Navy. I got no paperwork. I got no DD-214. I got no veterans card. I got nothing to say I'd ever served. And literally on my way home from Plymouth that evening to Hampshire, where I lived at the time, or to London, something fundamentally had changed in my life. I was unemployed, but I'd gone through, I had nothing to prove where the last 6 years had gone. I didn't have a 214. Does that make any sense? So we don't, the first thing you do in the UK is not ask someone for proof. And we should be more American and do it. I don't know. I have now proved my service to a couple of people. I handed my documents to Irish on Wednesday, who gave them back saying, I believe I don't need them.
You've been verified
I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
And when I get my veterans card, it's got lost in the post twice. You can't make this shit up. I promise you.
Oh, Gia, this was the comment that I was talking about. So your eye roll emoji doesn't make much sense when I'm literally getting sent things in real time. I don't thrive, live, or breathe attention and drama. I have 2 jobs and 3 children that I take care of on my own. I speak on things. Again, when other people come to me and have been negatively affected and feel they don't have a voice, that's when I use my voice. So if it's drama to you for me to defend people who can't speak up for themselves in a manner or on a platform the way I can, then I'm sorry. But I can see why you get conned so easily by all of these fucking people. Like, how many of these people are going to con you, Gia, before you're like, maybe Shiz isn't the fucking bad guy? Jesus Christ. But sorry. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go into Discord with God's Cabbage. I hope Shuggy, which way are you? Are you this? You're kind of in the middle. I'm gonna hope Shuggy joins me. I'm gonna hope Scotto joins me. I hope all of you join me too. Oh shoot, I still don't have a link handy. I'm so bad at this.
I'll drop one.
Thank you. If someone wants to drop a link, we can all run in there. And
well, I hope I've answered some questions.
Priest just got it.
Oh,
I think I've answered. I hope I've answered some questions correctly.
I think you have. I mean, you've been open and accountable. I like that you didn't deflect, you didn't spin in circles, and you didn't do anything like we just saw on Demon Stream. So I appreciate your transparency. And as always, it's lovely to talk to you.
And you. I tried to come up the other night, but I was still trying to be undercover super secret agent. Don't tell Katie.
No, that's perfectly fine. I just, you're always welcome to come up here, especially if it's something that concerns you, and this does loosely concern you. But all right, I'll see you guys in Discord. Have a good night.
See ya. Thanks, guys.